Welcome to the Damn If I Know episode of Ward in Trouble. I'm your host, John X.
Aren't we like around 14 now?
Of course, Grant Lancaster. With the perfect timing, the City Wing King.
What up, dog?
What up, though? Chilling. And of course, what's happening, Grant?
You know, chilling the most, man.
All right.
I feel like I just came in on the middle of something.
No. He's just doing it. Literally, you just came in. He's doing the intros. We just starting.
We are just starting.
But
we are on BPP.
As you well know, it's Giant season, so he's already shared some Daniel Jones hate.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is appropriate.
They about to shut him down, right?
About to shut who down?
Might as well.
Daniel Jones. Ain't they about to shut him down because he got like a $23 million insurance clause or something?
Oh, it's a $40 million insurance clause. It is a
yeah.
Man gets hurt. As a Giant fan, woo! If that man gets hurt, you are stuck with him for the entire next year. Honestly, I think they're stuck with him anyway. In order to get rid of him, the cap hit is still around like I think 15 to 20 million.
At this point, it doesn't matter though. And so I understand kind of how much money the NFL makes. Don't talk to me about money. Just cut him, right? If you don't tell me he got to stick around for the money, because the money is academic when it comes down to it. If you could afford to pay him $40 million, you just could afford to pay him $40 million. Move on to the next cat if he ain't good enough.
You know what I was thinking? You cut him, you take a $20 million hit on your cap from one season, and that basically gives you $20 million to replace him. Or you got to start cutting guys from other positions. They're going to have a high draft pick and everything. Keep him for a year, draft the guy high, and let him fucking start while the rookie actually slowly comes in and takes his job. At this point, you're already in the sunk cost. So you might as well have somebody that knows the team. And, I think that Daniel Jones, I've watched him a lot, and I think he's a bad quarterback, but I think he's a good football player, if that makes sense. He'll drop his shoulder. He'll go around the corner. He'll do whatever he has to do in order to try to get the first down. I'll give him that. He's like the guy, the little kid at the Pop Warner. You watch him and you go, yeah. He tries and everything. He really does. But he locks in on his first receiver and he holds the ball too long. So.
And he throws it to the other team too much.
He's a backup quarterback.
No, he's not a quarterback at all. That's the problem with Daniel Jones. He's never been a quarterback. I mean, you could try to force that square peg into a round hole all you want to, and the NFL does it all the time because it's a league that they have convinced the entire world that without a franchise, I'm using my air quotes, without a franchise quarterback, you can't win in this league, and it's a lie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If you can't run the ball in this league, you can't win.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You agree with that, Rob? Mm-hmm.
Well, the Eagles were in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Actually, they won it. The guy who was their starting quarterback for the first 12 weeks got hurt. He's out of the league now. Carson Wentz.
Right, Carson Wentz.
And then they brought in old dude to play quarterback for 4 weeks.
Nick Foles.
They won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles.
Yeah.
It can be done. You don't have to have the greatest quarterback. You just have a guy who can manage the game. You don't need Tom Brady all the time. You need a guy who can manage the game if you can run the ball.
You know who proves that? Patrick Mahomes. Because last year with Kansas City, the beginning of the season, they had no running game whatsoever. They had terrible running backs, terrible. And still, he found a way to dink and dunk them to the Super Bowl.
He's doing the same thing this year.
Same thing, dinks and dunks. Just keeps dinking and dunking him to the Super Bowl and to the next level. So, that was my whole point. What you just said, Rob, what you just said, Grant, about running the football, that's what I was saying before you came on. Because Andrew had brought up, of course, Andrew Johnson is here tonight.
What up?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That's it. What's up, y'all?
What's happening, player?
He had
That's it.
mentioned, what did you say about Saquon?
No,
What
I
was it?
said, I said, them white girls must be taking care of him pretty good out there in Philly because he got 1,000 yards already. I was watching the game. He just crossed 1,000 yards and he's only in his 9th or 10th game. So
Yeah.
he's second in the league in rushing. So what's going on?
Yeah.
Well, he was in Penn State country even when he was in New York. Like his legions were able to find him very easily when he was in New York too. Like he's been taken care of if that's what he wants.
Oh.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
what he
Jersey. When you play for New York, you're really playing for Jersey, and that's that's a state line right there. So you're good there. But we're not talking about the man's sex life. We're talking about his actual stats. And we've digressed.
Since we're going to talk about shit that really doesn't matter, I saw a video of the weigh-in between Mike Tyson and that Paul kid.
Oh, yes, sir.
And that kid's been acting. Did you see what he did at the weigh-in?
No.
Jake Paul came crawl on a stage like he was a wild animal, and he jumped up in Mike Tyson's face, and Mike Tyson slapped him.
Right. Yeah. You messing with a killer, bro.
Like, I'm not sure whether this is like great theater or whether these are two people who are reading two different scripts. Like, Mike Tyson's trying to prove to his kids that he was somebody at one point in his life. And this guy, like Jake Paul just tweeted out, "Oh my God, it's a like a moment come true. I got slapped by Mike Tyson. It's a dream come true. I got slapped by Mike Tyson." Like, he might be thinking this is a Disney script and this is all like, it's all for charity. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. I'm going to spar with Mike Tyson. And meanwhile, Mike Tyson is thinking, you know what? I'm going to crush this guy's ribs so my kids understand how mean I was back in the day and how lucky they are that they got the new mushroom daddy.
There's some clips of Roy Jones. There's some clips of Roy Jones Jr. going around talking about when him and Mike Tyson had that charity
exhibition.
fight.
Yeah.
And Roy Jones was like, "Hey, my man, Mike Tyson ain't got but one speed, bro. he coming for your head." And it's just like that.
He snaps, man. He just, he
Yeah.
gets into that mode, man. And
yeah, Jake Paul thinks it's about to be sweet. Yeah,
he thinks it's an exhibition.
So y'all,
Tyson think he's fighting for the title.
Y'all believe
there's a part of me that doesn't want to watch this, but there's no way in hell you can get me from not being in front of the TV. Like, I'm gonna be watching it.
Right.
It's a car crash.
Right.
Oh,
you think his life is in mortal danger?
Jake Paul? Once again, is he acting? Did you see the open workouts? Mike looked like Mike, a little bit slower, a little bit sloppier, but the intensity was still there. Jake Paul came in there with like a rooster's comb on and his bag work. He was doing the gloves. I could work the gloves better than that. Like, seriously, without training, I could work the gloves better than that. I'd look cleaner. I'd look more like a fighter than Jake Paul did. Like, he can get his head taken off tomorrow.
Yeah.
The fight's tomorrow? I didn't know the fight was.
Yeah, who fights on a Friday night?
No, it's Saturday.
Oh, it's tomorrow, the 15th.
Is it tomorrow?
Yeah.
Why did I think it was Saturday?
Because who fights on Friday night? That's why.
Right. Yeah.
I thought it was Saturday.
I thought it was Saturday.
Told me that. I would have missed it.
Against the grain.
What?
Yeah, are they showing it on USA, right? Ain't that what USA used to have Friday night fights?
Yo, those USA fights were the best. Those were the best fights ever. I seen a dude go in the corner.
Nobody's.
Yeah, it was one dude. He was getting beat up in the fight, right? And the dude was getting his opponent was just tearing him up. He get back to the corner, and his corner man says to him, "You need to dodge them shots, uppercut, do this, left, right, another." Then he looks at him and says, "You remember what I said?" The dude said, "No." He said, "Well, get out there anyway."
Friday night
That's movie
fights,
shit.
baby.
That's movie
Yo,
shit right there.
Yeah, it's classic, man.
That's like
Classic.
how many of them do you see? 3. Hit the one in the middle.
Right.
Yo, they would take them guys out the audience and get them up that ring and fight, man. That joint was crazy.
So Jake Paul may actually, I was speaking to an appraiser, and he called me, and he one of the things he mentioned, he was like, "Yo, I can't wait to see Jake Paul. That guy runs his mouth, and I want to see Mike Tyson take his head off." It was a white guy.
I just want to see Mike Tyson.
No, he was like, I want to see him knock the hell out of Jake Paul. That's exactly what we need. Like, he needs to shut the fuck up. Oh my God.
Mike Tyson's punches had some bad intentions on him, man.
No, he still hits hard.
Oh yeah.
He still hits hard, man.
They ain't for no social media sensations to be taken. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what Jake Paul's regimen is, how long he trained, if he's a fighter, and I don't know nothing about Jake Paul except what I've seen on the internet. But Mike Tyson, man, like, Mike Tyson is probably one of the scarier dudes on the planet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, if this dude hook off on you, and if he go body head, listen.
Yeah, they said that back in the 90s in New York at the tunnel, man, he used to chase the bodyguards around. They would be running around cars trying not to get caught by Tyson when he come to the front door.
Yeah, he gonna mess around and get Mitch Blood Green down here.
Yo, Mitch Blood Green was the original social media guy. He used to run around with a big video camera on, talking all that trash. Yo,
attempted double kick.
Oh, yes he did. Out in front of that hands.
Yeah, that's when Tyson beat him up. He tried to take the side view mirror off the Rolls Royce. He was pulling on it. And Tyson told the chauffeur, "Wait a minute, let me knock this dude out." And Tyson hit him, and he knocked him out. And he thought he killed him. He said, "Let's get the hell out of here." And he said he was happy when he woke up the next day and he saw that he was on the news with the swollen eye talking shit. He said, "I didn't kill him, thank God."
That's what he gonna have. He gonna have that same thing on Saturday.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, this guy, he's talking. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's alive.
Well, I'm
ashamed that I'm gonna watch it, but I will be watching it.
Oh yes, sir.
Everything on the internet about Jake Paul that I don't know, which is a lot, because this way, when they start showing his memorial on TV Saturday morning, I don't have to watch it.
I think them body shots are gonna make him quit. I don't even think Tyson, when Tyson goes to the body, man, it's gonna make him quit, man. I don't care what kind of shape he's in.
That man is 59 years old. I really think that Mike Tyson is going to has that rib breaking power.
Well, here's the thing, like whatever Jake Paul's doing for training, and he looked like he hadn't trained as hard as he should for this thing. He looks a little softer on the middle.
Flabby, little
but
soft.
Nobody trains for body shots like the ones he's gonna get tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Like everybody wants to throw headshots. Body shots take a lot out of your legs, man.
Oh yeah.
Like 2 of those hooks to the body, and you can see them knees. I can see them knees getting jello right now, because it literally he's gonna take that shot and he's gonna go, "What the fuck? Jesus, take the wheel!" Like you ever get hit so hard it makes you question your existence? Like I've gotten hit like that. I've gotten hit that hard on the football field. Like, I mean, literally, the last shot I ever took on the football field made me question my existence. Like, I walked off the field and said, "This shit ain't for me anymore." And Jake Paul's gonna have that moment quite possibly tomorrow. Like, what the?
You think he's gonna do a Michael Spinks?
Just curl up in the corner and no mas.
Act like he want to fight until he get hit.
Until he get hit
once, and lay down and don't get up.
What was that one? 91 seconds?
91
seconds. 91 seconds.
Oh my gosh. All the Tyson highlights. Mommy. I don't know whether
Yeah,
I want to see him like, it's like the world is so crazy, and I guess shows that I'm kind of a part of it. I don't know if I want to see him knock him out or actually see if he can possibly commit a homicide legally on television with clubs. It's very possible. I would say my suggestion would be like this: when Tyson hits you with the first one and everything, the first body blow, take a knee. That's it.
If you can, because
If you can,
when that rib cracks,
Hey, do y'all know what? Do y'all know what size gloves are they using? Are they using 8 ounce
ounces?
gloves?
14,
8 ounces?
14.
Or
I thought it
14?
was.
Okay, then
Yeah.
if it's 14, he's got a chance. Like it won't hurt as bad. It'll still hurt, but it won't be like an 8 ounce glove.
It'll still hurt.
It's gonna
Oh,
still hurt, but it ain't gonna hurt as bad as
That's
if it was an
crazy.
8 ounce glove.
Man.
Speaking of foul shit, and I'm just wondering aloud here. So you guys know Trump put up Matt Gaetz for Attorney General.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that Trump is playing 4D chess and just did the ultimate troll job on Matt Gaetz? Motherfucker resigned his congressman's seat immediately. He thinks it's going to be AG. You think that it's possible that Donald Trump nominated him knowing there's no way in hell he gets the office? Just kind of one last fuck you to that guy.
You know that would be some serious 4D chess.
Because I don't think there's any way that this guy gets through.
No, I don't neither. But I think the only reason why I think Trump might have did it, if he wasn't playing 4D chess, is he knows that he'll be loyal to him. So if he's the attorney general, he's going to let Trump do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's going to let Trump do whatever he wants. But everybody knows that, and also he's being investigated for trafficking underage women.
Oh yeah,
they've interviewed at least one woman that he slept with while she was a minor, and paid for it.
Here's the deal with that, though. This is a crazy thing. He resigned so the report wouldn't come out, but I'm 100% certain it's going to get leaked. So
it's coming out.
Yeah, and
people
are going to see who this guy really is, and I think that might hurt Trump a little bit with his political capital they might have if they say you nominated this dude.
Wait. He's a felon, sexual offender.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's bankrupted all these companies, got more lawsuits against him.
So he's nominating himself.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He won the presidency. So I don't think it's absurd to think that this guy could.
It's absurd to think that the 435 people who sit in the House and 100 people who sit in the Senate would look at that guy and go, "It's okay with us." They hate him too.
Yeah.
You're right. They all hate Matt Gaetz.
Yeah. That's. I think the only person that they hate more than him is Ted Cruz. I mean, I can't think of anyone else that they hate as much. So it would be a way to get him out of DC. I mean, because he wouldn't have a seat to run from because he resigned it. And
he resigned his seat, yeah.
So and I don't think DeSantis will appoint him to the senator seat for Rubio in Florida. So.
Right.
Oh.
John, you've somehow gone out of focus. I'm not really sure.
I don't know what it is.
I can still see you, just blurry.
Yeah, your facial details are a little bit out there. Yeah. But I watched two interviews that I've seen. Well, one I saw on CNN. This guy is from some pro-Arab group out in Michigan, and he comes on and they say, Trump, rallied hard in your area, and he turned, he got X percent of the vote there, blah, blah, blah. Do you guys have any buyer's remorse? And the guy was like, Trump came and lied in our faces. She never came here. He came here and he told us what he thought we wanted to hear, and he convinced some people, and we voted for him, and he lied to our face. And I could not help. I'm sitting in my home by myself, and I could not help but scream out, "Motherfucker, you voted for a liar. You get what the fuck you deserve. You knew the motherfucker was a liar before he showed up in your town."
Right.
Yeah. So play stupid games, get stupid fucking prizes.
There was no way.
He's appointing somebody who has no fucking regard for Palestine to handle the Israel-Palestine conflict. You got what you deserved, Holmes. And then there was this other guy, this other gentleman poor, unemployed, relies on the Affordable Care Act for his health insurance.
Mhm.
And, he said, they were asking about Trump. He goes, as long as, he's going to get rid of Obamacare and that's good. But as long as he leaves the Affordable Care Act alone, that's all I care about. So the guy says, of course, hey, you realize that the Affordable Care Act is Obamacare. They're the same thing. Well, why the fuck they got two names for it? That's bullshit. Why they call it two different things? Whatever. Like, nobody called it
Stop
two
it.
different things. That was the propaganda of your people.
Stop it.
Exactly.
Propaganda.
Like, you want to talk about somebody sitting on TV with some bitter beer face? This dude was like it was almost like he could feel the plunger in his ass.
It's their own desire to really be racist about these things that are policy, and he gets what he gets. How do you not know after all of these years of taking advantage of quote unquote Obamacare that it's not the ACA, that it's not the same? How do you not know that? And people say you're supposed to tell them. This is what I was saying the other week. Everybody thinks you owe them the information. And then when you tell them the information, they say, you're lying. So what's the point of even telling you shit?
You're going to believe what you believe anyway.
Yeah, they don't believe it. They don't believe it. Literally, the Secretary of Defense, this guy, Pete Hegseth, the weekend anchor on Fox News. The weekend anchor. Not even a Monday through Friday guy.
Well, the government doesn't pay enough to get a Monday through Friday guy.
Well, yeah, I guess. Okay. All right. I'll accept that. But come on. He doesn't have any qualification whatsoever. But he's going up for that's the job he's going to be given. It's it's all crazy shit. It's all crazy shit. What it makes me wonder is the actual smokescreen. I hadn't thought about the smokescreen about getting rid of Gaetz. That's actually a good one. I was thinking also that these confirmations of these clowns basically is smoke and mirrors while they get their actual people that are actually in there to do the work, who are probably 10 times worse to actually get in there and do the job. Because Matt Gaetz, he's not going to do any of the actual district attorney work. He's just going to try to get people to quit.
But he can also direct people to investigate. Like he can move pieces on the board. He can open investigations. He can do all kinds of foul shit. Like he's there for retribution. If he gets the job, he's there for retribution. He's there to tick off the names on Trump's list.
Well, the reason why they want to get rid of people who are quote unquote career government employees is because generally that group of people is really normally very non-political. And the reason why they're non-political is because they have to see common sense. So one thing that saved us through the first Trump presidency was those people who were saying I'm not going to go out there and be earnest in my investigation of this bullshit, because it is bullshit. Now they're trying to get rid of all of those people this time around. So what I hope that they've done over the past 4 years is give those people some type of job security that will make it a little bit harder for you to move them out. You
know what, John?
I
think there was a Supreme Court decision earlier in the year stating that it's hard to remove a government employee or fire a government employee from those positions.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't just do it and just replace them with a hack. I think they did decide a case like that. But doesn't this remind you of the Republicans in Congress and the Senate? It's like Trump is Darth Vader. And when they fail to do the mission or his bidding, he chokes them out and you never see or hear from him again. It's like they just end up gone.
What happens with Aaron Daniels and Tim Scott then?
Someone's got to make the meals in the kitchen. They got to stay in the kitchen. Someone's got to cook. Someone's got to prepare the food.
We may never hear from Uncle Timmy again.
Man, do you think that they've done their black jobs now and they're finished? They're cooked?
No, it's not over. It is not over.
There's still the position of housing and urban development that he gave Uncle Ben. So one of them could get that.
He will probably bring Uncle Ben back if Uncle Ben is interested. You know, you're not supposed to reheat rice, but looks like just saying. Hey, listen, we're covering sports. We might as well cover salmon too.
Yeah.
Reheat rice, if you don't know that at home, you get sick if you're constantly reheating dishes with rice. Don't do it. You'll end up like Uncle Ben Carson.
Who would be better of the two, Donald or Scott for urban housing and development, HUD?
Really?
Oh, Daniels?
Why are you asking who would be the tallest midget? Like, does it matter? They're both too short to fucking ride the ride.
I'm asking just to see if there's any difference between the two. I don't see a difference.
Well,
but,
I mean, the only difference is that in theory, Ben Carson has lots of education, none of it dealing with housing and urban development.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And Uncle Timmy from the middle of nowhere, South Carolina. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, they already have those guys.
Is he still engaged, or did his beard leave him already?
What?
Uncle Timmy, wasn't he engaged? Didn't he get engaged just before?
Yes.
Like he tried to seal his profile, and he's hoping to become VP. You think his beard left him, or is she's still hanging in there?
No, she's still. I mean, he's a senator. His position isn't going anywhere. He's paid for by the Heritage Foundation, not by Donald Trump. He's not on Donald Trump's payroll per se. He just offers up his services like all good Black people used to do before the Emancipation Proclamation. For free. Just saying. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. The brothers might get something. We don't see it. Like Andrew before the show.
Get something, all right.
Before the show.
Will it be worth the price of will it be worth the cost of their soul is the question, what they're going to get.
Well,
the answer is their next life's going to be a long one. It is not going to be worth it.
Well,
Well, between Donald and
this one's one for
Scott,
me.
Yeah. Between Donald and Scott, I have a feeling that if Donald was Attorney General, he would be like Steven from Django. I think Tim Scott might be a nicer, softer kind of guy.
Yeah. I don't know. I try to. I don't really have many slave movie references. I don't enjoy them.
Alvin.
It's not something that
Is that nigga on that nag?
It's not really. I don't really watch those too much, so I can't play that game.
Yeah, that one's worth a watch.
Oh yeah, you got to watch that.
Django is worth a watch.
I was saying Django. I've seen Django, but I'm saying like you can't. Beyond that, and Kunta Kinte, that's about as deep.
Yeah, like I still haven't seen a lot of the. Like, I'm not really interested in watching 2.5 hours of Black people, be noble through their pain. Like, I've seen enough of that shit. So like 12 years a slave.
12 years a slave.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of those.
I'm a 55-year-old Black man who lives in New York. I think I've been noble through my own pain long enough. So I don't need a movie example. Just saying. It's like, I am noble through my pain all the time. Just watching Byron Daniels and these guys, man, like, what the fuck? They work for free. That's all I was thinking. I was like, if I were Trump, what I would say to him if they said, hey, what happened to my election? Well, to my seat? I'd be like, well, I did tell you I was gonna turn back the clock and make America great again.
Back then, there was no role for you darkies.
And if you did something, you didn't come to Master's house in the middle of the night. Ask for an extra piece of chicken.
Oh man,
you ain't getting no chicken. So, and basically, hey, Grant, you know what I'm saying? Tell him, Grant, you're the city brand king.
Well, the Amish women have given up on me since the election.
Well, Byron Daniels and Tim Scott, there's no chicken for you.
Yeah, the Amish ladies gave up on you.
Oh
They
yeah.
voted overwhelmingly for Trump.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they come from, similar regions. Trump, German, Trump. I thought well, not the most interesting, but one of the interesting things, did you see what Russian media television did to Melania after
Yeah.
the election?
I couldn't believe they were that brazen. That I don't know if that would really piss me off, but I don't know. Everyone keeps saying that they got something on them, so I don't know what it is. But if they're that emboldened to put that out there, that's pretty bad.
I don't know what it feels like, because like to me, I'm just like, all right, another 4 years clown show. We're gonna see what happens. Things are gonna get worse. We're gonna hear people complain. I think the job for people who didn't vote for him, the quote unquote liberals, their job is not to get in there and say, I told you so all the time. Our job is to basically be the aunties and just side eye everything.
Mm-hmm.
This is what for. You wanted this. Rob, you came in, you're ready to fucking get him, I see.
Get who?
But those people, you came in hot, bro.
You know what? It's funny. I will tell you guys. So, periodically, about every 3 weeks, I go into therapy, go sit down with a man and just. So I ran in there yesterday. I had a meeting at the office and I got to run out, blah, blah, blah. So I, had to stop at home and poop on the way. I had literally had some shit I had to get out before I got there. But I sit down in the chair, and for like the first 10 minutes, I was ranting about the election. I was like, holy shit. Like I said to him, I said, I got to tell you, like, I had no idea this was about to come out. Like, I did not see this coming out of my mouth. I had no idea that I felt this way about this, but something had happened where I heard somebody complaining about something. And I was like, these motherfuckers. I think I saw the CNN interview the night before with the guy saying, oh, he lied straight to our face. I'm like, duh. He was talking.
Right.
Like, that's what he does.
Right.
And I think a part of my rant was just how bad I felt for young women. In that, I'm sure you all have heard many times. I know I've heard some of you guys say it. Like, we all knew growing up, like, you can do what you want to do in this life, but you probably got to do a little bit better than the guy next to you. If you and a white guy are in a tie, you lose. So you got to be head and shoulders above him.
Yeah.
And, for them to sit around and talk about Kamala's stupid, she's grossly unqualified, she fucked her way to. How the fuck do you fuck your way to a job that requires a vote across the state of California? It wasn't like she got elected in the state of Maine. Well, maybe you could fuck enough people in Maine to get elected to the AG. You can't fuck enough people in California to fuck your way to the AG job in California.
Right.
So stop that bullshit. But then this guy gets elected. If you're a young woman in this country, you got to be thinking, holy shit, I don't have to just be 50% better. Like, I got to be 10 times better than my opponent.
Yeah.
Because, they just spoke and said, everybody said she was unqualified. And this guy who was grossly, miserably unqualified, they elected.
Well, here's my thing, Rob. I think that women right now, a lot of women, full of shit. I feel like the whole matriarchy play, and this is like, this is where you get in trouble when incels hear you say stuff and they start saying, yeah. So this is about to be one of those moments. But to me, the matriarchy is a falsehood. Like, this election kind of proved that shit is never going to happen, because you've had two women that have ran for president and two women that have lost for president.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really believed in a matriarchy and you really believed in women being wise and true and being better leaders, they outnumber us. There should have been enough women that have voted for these women that we're not even, no other demographic should even come into play. if you really think about it, because they outnumber us. So if the majority of women are voting for the woman candidate, then the woman gets to lead. But the truth of the fact of the matter is in the United States of America, women don't trust women enough to lead them. They don't. So you kind of get to a certain extent, and this is like, it's sad for the ones that are actually conscious and the ones that are actually out there and they have their heads on right. You're right, they are gonna suffer. But them other biddies that voted for this dude, I don't have any like sympathy for them. Like, I don't know if you were online today, but in the Sid
I was
group,
not.
they had a I just like it was the only thing I saw today, and it was like a woman who was asking for advice about her marriage, and said her husband doesn't respect her, but he's a good provider. He gives her money. He doesn't respect her. He doesn't really express like affection for her. And he says he doesn't have to because he gives her money. And she wants to stay in a relationship, and she wants to keep things. But she wants him to love her, and so she's not willing to give up on the relationship. And motherfucker don't love you. He don't respect you, but he buys you nice things. So I'll go along with whatever he says. I don't have any sympathy for that person. Why are you supposed to? Why am I you? And this is how things happen and how people have affairs, but they never leave their husband. These are these women that have affairs, but they never leave their husbands because they go out and they seek sympathy in other places and attention in other places. But even though that person gives them what they want, they'd rather be tortured by this man because this man provides for her. And that's the female Trump voter. A lot of them. Would you say I'm wrong about that, Andrew, Mr. Relationship Expert?
That's a good point. You know, I mean, there's some who just followed suit with what their conservative husbands did, but it doesn't explain the female Hispanic vote, because about 35% of them voted for Trump as well, and so it's kind of a slippery slope. What the Democrats need to do, honestly, with that, is give up on the white women vote, because no matter what happens in any election, Republicans are still going to win a majority of white women. They need to go somewhere else for votes, because every election they keep trying to peel off some of that white women vote, and it's either 52%, 53%. It stays in that little box of that zone. But there is one silver lining here with white women in this election, and it's the liberal white women have started a movement where they're not going to have any sex with conservative men for the next 4 years. There's a movement on, there's a social media movement going on right now. So they're going to be stuck with just conservative women.
So, Graham, are you concerned about that?
So I'll tell you what I'm concerned about. I just don't think that, just being honest, I don't think the Democrats ran a smart race. I don't think that when you start talking about the Latino vote, the Hispanic vote, rather, when you start talking about the Arabic vote, they wasn't voting for no woman. I mean, those communities are male dominated. Like, there was no way that they were gonna put her in office. No. You know what I mean? Like, the whole thing just seemed like it was kind of a pipe dream.
You know what, Grant? This is the thing, though. When Hillary ran, she won those groups with a big number. She did really well with those groups. I think it was because it was a black woman. More so than just woman.
All of this finger pointing, like they didn't run a bad campaign. Like, you can't, like, everything that they faulted her for, he was doing. You know, in the beginning, it was like, well, she's not giving enough policy information. He was giving zero policy information. He was giving
Yeah, he
all
get
he was
in.
doing was standing up and talking shit about people. He ain't talking nothing about policy. All he talked about what was wrong. You know,
That's
they
really why everything he's doing is a surprise. But go on.
they're going well, you know, they're going after her, you know, because she didn't distance herself from Biden. Was she really supposed to distance herself from Biden? Like that's unrealistic. Like
Well,
that
that's
they
what I think
expected
the
her
problem was,
to
though.
sit there and slam the person next to him. Like he stayed on too long, that's for sure. But once again, like
That's what the problem
he,
was.
That's the issue was. That was the
but
issue.
he had to get out. This guy was just as, you know, Biden froze. Trump doesn't freeze, but you know, actually he does freeze once in a while. Motherfucker can't keep a coherent thought in his head, just rambles and shit. He's just as old and just as fucking incoherent as the other guy is, but one had to get out and one got to stay and become president. Like, there's no amount of shit that you could have told these people to get them to say, you know what, you're right, we're not voting for him. This is a strict cult vote,
Absolutely.
and it doesn't matter. The fucking Democrats could have fucking run around handing out $1,000 bills, and motherfuckers still would have been down with Donald Trump.
Yeah, they would have
Because
sent
that's where they are.
$1,500 in a check and taxed it.
Like, you know,
If
But
you-
did y'all hear the Angel Rodriguez story? The guy in Texas, the Cuban dude, he voted for Trump, and so I guess he thought he was one of them. So he sent his kids over to the next door neighbor that had Trump sign up. He sent his kids over there to play. And the guy said, "Get your kids up out of here and go back to Mexico or wherever you came from." Right?
hallelujah.
Then the guy gets a gun. The guy gets a gun, fires 2 shots in the air, and say, "Get off my property." So Angel Rodriguez calls the police and tells them what happened while he's standing on the guy's property. And the police said, "You better get off his property, or else I'm gonna have to arrest you." And if that wasn't enough, if you want the icing on the cake, he started making videos about what happened. Well, one of the videos, he had his work uniform on. The job saw it and fired his ass.
Fired him.
Hallelujah.
All of that for voting for Trump. And he ain't even got in the office yet, and he lost his job.
Wow.
Hey, man.
That's a true story.
Stupid games earn stupid prizes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I just like I've stayed away from the conversation because it's like, to me, why am I going to argue with somebody that's probably going to go through more pain than myself? That's the way I look at it. Because these motherfuckers are not prepared for another Trump presidency. They don't have a plan. They just think that, oh, he's going to fix everything. He's going to fix. Nah, he's not going to fix everything. They're going to do certain things, and certain things are going to move, and certain things aren't going to move. And you're going to have to move into those things, or it's going to be basically like swim or die. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what it is. They're changing everything. They're possibly changing everything. They're going to go after everything they possibly can. At this point in time, the only thing that could really save the United States is a couple of holdout Republicans. Not likely. So you're not really winning anything. None of us are winning. We're going to end up in the same boats. Or maybe not. I'm planning on being on a different boat. But it's like the Titanic. There's steerage, and then there's, levels to the shit.
Right.
This
Yeah,
one-
but you got to remember, most of them died too.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, we're all just trying to keep our heads above water until it all cracks.
Like, I think that it's going to be, the crack is going to be, I think Donald Trump's health is awful. I don't think, there's no way he survives 4 years as president.
Well,
Well, you know what, Robert?
And I don't think- What?
They said he's been having when he walks, he's sort of dragging his leg,
Yeah,
and they say that's a sign of many strokes. He's having a lot of mini strokes.
he ain't gonna make it. But the person behind him, JD Vance, I don't think he's got a chokehold on the party the way Trump does. I don't think they're scared of
No.
JD Vance. So they're gonna
No.
start bitch slapping him when he takes office.
JD
But
Vance,
The money people who put them all in place, well, they have already achieved their aims by the time he gets into office.
JD Vance has handlers, and he'll be worse because you can basically just stick something in his back and twist him around. And I mean, like, you know, a toy stick, not anything else.
Yeah.
That
No, but
other
I think the other Republicans who've been cowed by Trump will be like, that guy, like he can't walk over to Congress and start telling them what they're gonna do. Like they'll
Yeah.
fight back with him in a way that they won't against Trump.
uh,
But the damage could already be done by then.
listen, who cuts the checks? They get their checks from the same place. So it doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of what's going to happen next. And the thing is, it's going to be the same for everybody. It's going to be the same for everybody.
Yeah.
We're all going to have to deal with the same.
We all in it now.
We all in it now. So it's like, yeah, you can be happy, but I don't see the point of being happy at like losing shit. That's what losing the ACA. We're winning. We get a tax cut. You know what I'm saying? For items you can't afford because inflation is even worse because we're going to pay tariffs. And, you know, you're expected to go through some pain. You go through some pain, any more pain, you're going to drain every American family of any type of financial cushion that they have in this and have anywhere in this country. And you're going to make them more dependent upon the government, not less dependent upon the government. Even if it's just to get money, because they're going to be screaming for government money.
Did you see the guy who they put up for defense secretary?
Yeah,
the veteran.
Yeah, we were talking about it.
Yeah, but he said in an interview, basically he said part of the problem is that, you know, these veterans, they go in, they have all these advocacy groups, and these groups tell these guys to get as much money as you can. And he thinks that, you know, part of our problem is that these veterans who have served and fought for our country are asking for too much now.
Yeah.
He thinks that they need to just, you know, bite their upper lip and move on.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
It's always the janitors that use too many mop heads that make the company go broke.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
There
It's
you go.
never,
Yeah.
never the decisions up top. It's always they too many mop heads.
Well, we were talking about this, and you know, me and were talking about this the other day. And
Wow, she got name checked.
oh well, I'm gonna erase that, and I'm gonna erase that. I don't even know why you're even worried about it. You know?
I wasn't worried about it. I was, you know.
You won't even hear it. No, we were talking, but because in the context that we were actually talking about it, it's like, and I was saying to her, I was like, you know, what you have to realize about these things, because, you know, quote unquote, why would these veterans vote for Trump? And that was the thing. Why would veterans vote for Trump? And I say, well, it's very simple. How many veterans unalive themselves every day? 1 to 5?
I say it can be as high as 20.
It can be as high as 20 on a daily basis. Okay. So when those people came out of the war zones, for a lot of them, if they didn't already have skills, a lot of them were left to linger in the job market like everyone else. And after you've been in the field and you've carried a gun and you've seen some of the things that you've seen, you can't expect those people to get behind a keyboard all the time and be like normal and everything. You have to advocate for them. You have to set up systems for them so that way they can be productive and not want to unalive themselves. That is not what the United States does. But my point was that every year from out of those wars that we come out, and every day with 20 people killing themselves, unaliving themselves every day, that advocacy, that's 20 less people that the families are affected, friends or families, and every year they become more and more forgotten. So because what you don't see, you don't pay attention to. It's like,
so they think the guy with ankle spurs is going to advocate for them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is, it's not that. The ones that made it out, the veterans that made it out, that did well afterwards, they have a different perspective because they're okay. A lot of them are okay. And if your buddy did that and he did that 7 years ago, you're not thinking about him every day anymore. Now you have to live for the ones that are here. So every year they get more and more forgotten. so you can have guys that say stuff like this come out and say, like, listen, let's cut their funding because they're asking for too much. It's too much of a burden on the country because out of sight, out of mind. Every time someone had one of those people, every time one of those people unalives themselves, that's an entire family that's taken out of the loop. Because now, what are you worrying about veterans for? You don't have any live veterans that have to worry about that anymore. So that's not your fight anymore. And now we're all distracted with a lot of those people, and a lot of those people, those families, they're distracted with just trying to stay alive, to keep a roof over their head, to pay for basics, for the basics, because we have a tight economy right now. But the economy works, and it's better than most places. And you don't see people getting, like, you know, really kicked out of places. And you didn't really see, the whole point is, like, the Democrats ran a bad campaign, because really the reason why the Republicans were able to run that campaign is because everyone's at home now, comfortable watching TV and able to, like, see what's happening on TV. You know, whereas
No, the Republicans we're very comfortable with the person at the top who doesn't tell the truth. Like, the Democrats still play by some form of the rules, where the Republicans are playing with Hitler's playbook. Like, yo, if you say a lie often enough,
Right.
right,
Yeah.
but people are,
and it's not even about fooling them. It's just about making you disbelieve all facts.
no, what I'm saying is, though, people still have the time to actually watch him tell those, you know, not tell those facts, or even they have the luxury to vote for him because the wolf is not really at their door like that. Most people aren't like, yo, I can't wait for Trump to get in to enact his policies. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's sitting around waiting for him to, you know, give them money. This country really needs infrastructure.
Yeah, that's what the Democrats are talking about.
Yeah, you think
Well,
we're
they
gonna
passed the infrastructure bill. They already passed it.
Okay. Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, that was passed. The one
there's
thing good
nothing
about that is they
Democrats-
can't
There's
overturn it.
nothing the Democrats could have said to change any of these people's minds.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Right. That's it.
So the
Absolutely.
infrastructure bill is going to come out, and because we understand how government works, so they passed it. So that means it's going to be funded. It's going to come out. People are going to get jobs for it, and Trump
will benefit from it.
Yes.
take credit
Yes.
for it.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Because
And you know he will take credit
takes-
for it.
yes, it takes that bill had to be passed with 60 votes.
Mhm.
So you can't really overturn it because you would have to have another 60. And so no the Democrat and 16 Republicans voted for it when Biden was in office, when Biden signed it into law. So it's not going anywhere. It's going to still be there. So that bill will be there. The ones that can be overturned is the ACA could be overturned, and so could the CHIPS Act, which was also passed through reconciliation. That can also be overturned. So there's a couple of things that if they want to, they can. But I might be wrong, and maybe I'm just, it's wishful thinking.
Mhm.
But I don't know if the Republicans want to get rid of the ACA, because there's so much of their constituency is benefiting from it. I don't know if they want to just throw that out.
They never really did, because if they wanted to get rid of it, they would have made a better effort the first time around. And they basically, it was a heritage foundation program. They just run against it. They just run against it because it's called Obamacare. So it's a soft racist talking point, because you can talk about the black guy that was president, and it's always in a negative connotation. Nobody ever talks about how prosperous the country was at that time. You know, we hear that he didn't do anything for black people, but if you were a part of the population and you were able to go out and do anything else that anyone else in the population could do, and things were good, then he did something for you. I don't know.
You know something? It's just, I think with black politicians, people think that they're going to be superheroes. They're going to just make all their problems go away just because they're the president.
They just need to grow up.
It don't work that way.
Yeah, they just need to grow up. Just grow up. Like I'm so tired of these conversations. Where's this one? Nobody's perfect. People aren't perfect. Bills aren't perfect. Legislation isn't perfect. You know, even if you had the best of everything, they would still make mistakes because that's the world. Nobody has a crystal ball and can tell everything that has to be. Just like it's just a bunch of whining. And what I've seen, and that I find interesting, is that a lot of these people that have supported this guy, they feel free now. It's like almost like they are a part of the world again. They can express themselves. That's what I feel like. That the reason why that post bothered me so much, Rob. Like you were bothered, you didn't realize it, but that post in that group bothered me because that's some woman who voted for Donald Trump. I know it. I don't have to ask it. I already know it without asking. And she voted for incel behavior. So why is someone why you don't understand the correlation between affection and incel behavior? You don't see the difference, the sameness. You know, you've done a bad. I've just noticed that people have they have a bad way of perceiving reality. You know, as far as like, it's not really reality. It's like you can't live in your mind. You have to live in the actual world and deal with the actual consequences of things that you do, the decisions that you make, the job that you have, what you decide to eat for fucking breakfast, all that shit. And this generation doesn't want the responsibility, but they want to question everybody about what they're doing. And that's how a guy like Trump becomes president again, because he ain't saying shit. He's not committing to nothing. He doesn't make them feel a certain way. He makes everybody feel okay. And, you know, personally, I'm an anarchist to a certain extent. I believe that there are certain things in this country that need to be changed, and they weren't going to get changed under the old system. I don't know if they're going to get changed under the new system either.
We're going to find out.
Yep. New system may even take me into consideration whenever I may become 1/5 of a man. I have to go back to my black job. I think
you got just as good of a chance of being Housing and Urban Development Secretary as Tim Scott does.
Yeah. All I have to do is say some nice things about Donald. That nice hair. I'm sorry about what happened to your wife. Actually, I think that is really fucked up, though. You know, honestly speaking, I don't necessarily like Melania Trump. She's a good-looking, she's an attractive woman. No matter what race, whatever, she's an attractive woman. But I feel like the fact that they dragged her into it, I don't think she's really with all the bullshit. She's not coming to live there again for a while.
She is with all the bullshit.
Right.
It's not, you can't be half pregnant. You can't be, well, I like his economic policies. I don't like his racism and that shit, but I like his economic policies. No, if you sign up for a piece of it, you sign up for the whole thing. You can't you can't get the sugar out the fucking pie.
Wow,
like
you were
the whole fucking pie.
You were seriously on fire today. You were like, I haven't seen you this like blown up about a political situation in quite a long time. You were really on fire today. But when I say that she's not for the bullshit, I mean that she just doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't want to be involved.
No, she doesn't give a fuck about anything. Is the problem?
Yeah.
Like she is like this book that she wrote just shows you what kind of, like, she's one of them bitches. She was born on third base, hit a triple. Like, you married this rich motherfucker, you took the deal, and because you smart, it's just because you know was able to drop that pussy on him. You know, you ain't no better than anybody else. You ain't like you want to be an upstanding citizen, then be a citizen and condemn the shit that's going on.
Yeah, but she's not. But that's like
what she did is renegotiate her prenup to make sure that her son got more.
Yeah, she's vapid. You know what I'm saying? That's not. You're talking about like someone who has substance. She doesn't have that. That's not what she is. She's not even, but she's not trying to be involved in it. She
No,
would
because
prefer,
she knows she doesn't have to perform this time because he can't run again.
yeah,
Man.
yeah.
Like she doesn't have to be performative this time because it don't matter. Like he's 4 years and he's done. Doesn't
Well-
matter what she do this time around.
Well, fellas, 4 minutes and we're done. One and it's been an hour.
It's a shame that I got rid of all my old Playboys because I'd have sent you the Melania issue. And by the way,
Look,
Putin showed him exactly what he thinks of him. He thinks Putin's a good guy and he's his friend, and Putin showed him exactly what he thinks of him. And he's such a stooge, he gonna take it.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
all the people that actually love this guy love him and they back him up and they say he's like an alpha man. You know what I'm saying? And alpha man got his wife's, like, you know, Punani out there internationally. International, he's married to international Punani. That's basically what Putin did. Putin like cuckolded him in front of the entire world and everything. So if your leader is a cuckold, what does that mean about the rest of the fucking country? And you're going to tell me that this is what you perceive as being strength? Fuck out of here. Yes, you got a guy from a scripted radio station, you know, news station, and you nominate him for Department of Defense.
Well, but hey, remember, after somebody tried to shoot him, he got up and he said, "Fight!"
Yeah,
Right.
Macho
Right.
shit.
man, right. Macho bullshit. You know what I'm
The
saying?
name you know.
Don't make me whip my dick out and put it on the table, and we'll talk about Macho. Born in trouble. The little
Exactly.
motherfuckers, it's always the niggas with the little dicks causing problems. That's the way I feel about it. Now, niggas was born with a couple of more inches, you might be fucking nicer. Born in trouble, Andrew Johnson. Don't even, you don't have to say nothing about that.
No, I don't think I can follow that up.
Mm. Robert Brooks.
On fire. I'm gonna calm down.
On fire, you know. Man can also slap a table, so I've heard. And Mr. Grant Lancaster.
Sir, yes, sir. Y'all was all on fire today.
Yeah, let them know. Let them know, though. There's always little dick niggas. You know what I'm saying? Always causing all the fucking problems. Chick ain't never call you back over just for fun, did she? Nope. Nope. Had to bring her a meal. Bring something with you. No love. Beep. All this stuff with this guy being president, truth of the matter is, it's not going to change your personalities. You still got to have a personality in order to enjoy life. And by the way, Rob, I didn't get a chance to talk about you singing the national anthem there at the Florida.
That was funny.
apparently,
I reacted immediately, but I never really got a good look at the guy's face.
No, unfortunately, Andrew, I didn't get to send you the video, but I got sent a video from one of our. Actually, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you know where the video came from. It was your former junior high school backcourt mate who said he was watching the game, the Philadelphia game, before the game, and the guy came out and he announced Robert Brooks singing the national anthem. Rob, when you find out you got a doctor,
That's what Bernard came up with.
Yeah, Bernard said that.
That's what Bernard came up with.
Yep. Bernard was like, "Yo, I'm watching this shit right now." He said it's so fucking funny. Mr. Bernard, the infamous Mr. Bernard Alexander.
What up, Bird?
What's happening, Playboy?
Big mover and shaker out there in the entertainment world.
Mhm.
I keep my shit cut low because I don't want to show off the Ring of Fire like that dude is doing.
Yeah, but he's still yeah.
The Ring of Fire.
I'm not really trying to show off the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, that was bad. If y'all don't know, there's no video here.
Ring of Fire is awesome.
But it's this guy that was like looked like he was possibly Rob, who was time traveling 20 years in the future. And since he had time travel technology, he also figured out a way to get a singing voice. And he was singing the national anthem.
But you would think that if I had time travel technology, I'd have found a way to get my waves back. Like,
No, born in trouble. We're gonna ride that wave out. Everybody, check out next week. Peace.
Peace.
Later.